So let's learn about Getx navigation using onReady function. And this is the result that we want to achieve. So we'll have a splash screen and automatically we'll go to a next screen. First, we'll go ahead and create a Dart file and we'll name the class app routes, and it will contain our routes inside this. Then we'll define our routes inside this class as a list. So here I have two routes. Now this is the initial routes or the very first route of your Flutter app, and this is the auto navigated route, and this is where we want to go. We know that this route with slash automatically gets called, and this is where we want to auto navigate. Now these are the two screens. There could be any random screen, it doesn't matter. After that, we'll go ahead and create a new Dart file, and inside this we'll create a controller, and this controller will extend Getx controller. Now inside this class we'll create a new method. The method name is navigate to introduction. You can name it anything. Now this is the route name which is being referred inside our app routes file. Now let's go back to auth controller. Now at the top we'll define a new method. So this method will call the method we just described earlier, navigate to introduction. Right after this, over here we'll override a method that is called onReady method. This is the onReady method that does the magic, because whatever you put inside this, it will get called automatically, and it says that this is the perfect place for events like snack bar dialogues or new routes. So what it does, it auto navigates to a new page. So now we're going to go ahead and call this method inside this onReady method. Now this is our controller. You can name it anything, it doesn't matter. This is the time we go ahead and inject our controller. Here we created a new Dart file which is called initial bindings, and inside this we created a class, and this class extends bindings. As you see, we have an arrow. That means over here we need to override a method which is called dependencies. Now this is the method that we are overriding, and inside this we need to inject our controller, the controller we created over here, auth controller. So we'll go ahead and inject it. Now of course I have two controllers over here, which is theme controller and auth controller. But theme controller, I'm just doing it for the color and feel of the app. It has nothing to do with this auth controller. If you don't have this one, you are good to go. But the most important part is you have to call the auth controller, which is this one, or the controller that you created. This controller will call onReady method. Since bindings are done, we need to go ahead and check it in our main.dart file. Now here is my main.dart file, and here we have this main method. Right after this, we have this stateless class, and inside this we are assigning our routes. So this is the routes that we have defined earlier, which is over here. And this is the theme controller. Once again, it doesn't really matter for you. Now over here, we need to inject our initial bindings, which is in this file. So we need to go ahead and call this method from main.dart. So that's how you call the initial bindings. Now we'll save it and run our project. Let's run it. And we see that we had a splash screen and it came here automatically. Let's run it one more time. The logo and this screen. It happens too fast. So to be able to slow it down, over here we can define a feature inside this initAuth method. So here we define a feature which delays 2 seconds before we go ahead and navigate to the next screen. Run our app. Now here we see we are staying here for 2 seconds and go to the next page. One more time. Staying here 2 seconds and going to the next page. So that's how you do auto navigation using onReady method of Getx.